I suddenly got a vision of fishing. Remember when Peter and them had been fishing all night? And the guys come in with their boats, and they knew all the spots on the GPS. They had it marked. Peter's number 1 spot, Peter's number 2 spot, James's spot, John's spot, Andrew's spot. These guys knew where to fish, right? Peter, he big burly guy. Then he's his 2 mates there, John and James brothers, a little bit less burly, but they were strong guys. They were fishermen. So Peter comes in, and he's a little bit downcast, haven't caught any fish. And Jesus comes over and says, "What's up, boys?" They're really tired, they've been up all night, setting nets and all the net previous day. "Well, we've been out fishing in our favorite spots, we got nothing." Jesus said this, "I can't accept that. Nothing. You got nothing?" "No, we got nothing." "Well, guess what? Fishing's not over." Peter stands up and looks at him and says, "Excuse me?" Jesus says, "Get back in the boat, get your nets, and you'll never catch anything wading around in the shallows. I want you to launch out into the deep." Deep. How deep? Well, till you lose your security and your comfort that you can't feel the bottom of the lake anymore. Because, some people just like to hang around in the shallows of Christian faith and life. So it's comfortable, and so the water can come chest high, but boy, if you start to lift that a bit further, we don't like that. Well, guess what Jesus says? What you need is not in the shallows, it's in the deep. So he says this, "Set your nets." Peter stands up to him, stands up to God. Don't worry, all the other crazies did it too. Peter's crazy, but he just doesn't learn, he's got to get crazier. Jesus said, "Let's push out." So he said, "Look, Jesus, my GPS, all my spots. Look here, I've used them all. I've been over there at spot A, spot B, spot X. Got nothing." What makes you think that you know where the fish are? Well, he says this, and I'm saying it for you, it's paraphrased, but he probably didn't say it, but that's what he's saying. He says, "Well, you went as far as your limits. You did as much as you have in your heart and your head right now. But you have eliminated the God factor. You forgot what you were born in. You forgot that once upon a time you believed anything that God gave out of his mouth. Once upon a time you were hunting and looking for big projects to do. Once upon a time, you couldn't hardly wait for Sunday to come around. You couldn't hardly wait to get whatever you could to give to the house of the Lord. Once upon a time, you wanted to sing in the choir. You wanted to serve at the door. You wanted to be a children's church member. You wanted to be in the second row. You wanted to be a part of the ministry out there. You wanted to park cars. You wanted to do everything. Once upon a time, you couldn't stop talking about church. What's happened that you're in the shallows now, and you're no longer challenged to greater faith anymore like you used to be, and you want to stay within reach of the shore. You want to say that there's no fish out there. He says this, listen to me. Don't you underestimate what I can do. That's what you think. That's where you are. But I want to take you into the deep. I want to get you out where you lose all sight of the land. I want to put you in a position where your little toes can't touch land anymore. And now you're vulnerable, you're wading, you're using your hands, you're swimming, you feel like sinking. I'm telling you right now, I want to push you out into the deep so that you get to a point where you remember who I am and what I used to do through you, what you used to believe that I can do with you. You're now coming in saying there's no more fish. I want to tell you there's fish out there. There's a whole lot of fish. Now launch out into the deep. And so Peter says, all right, I'll do this, but I'm tired and I'm not thinking well and I'm hacked off. And I am actually telling you, Jesus, that if you mess this up, mate, I want to see you again. Jesus says, go on, get out there. Peter says to the boys, and they said, what, shall we listen to him? Get in the boat, let's do it. Won't hurt, he'll get you embarrassed. We know there's no fish there. So out they go, rowing away there because they're starting the motor and wouldn't start, and they're rowing out there. They get out there. No, a bit further. What? A bit further, Jesus says. Further, I can still see you. Come on, keep going. Now they're really out there in the deep, all by themselves, with all their doubts, with all their anxieties, with all of the stuff they're going through in life. What does Jesus do? He doesn't bring them into the shallows further. He doesn't even hug them. He doesn't touch them. He says, I want you to go into the opposite direction. I want you to launch into the deep. I want to challenge where your heart is. I want to challenge what you're thinking. I want to, again, bring you to a place of realizing you lost a simplistic faith and believing. They put the nets down. Listen to this. They put the nets down, and you know the story. The biggest catch that they've ever had in their miserable, little, narrow lives. And now they're changed. They're screaming for joy, and they tell their brothers, bring some more boats. We're sinking. See, if you're not prepared for your boat to be filled up with the harvest, the boat that God's got prepared for us where we're going to Druce's Road is going to end up being an astonishing catch. There's a whole lot of people who can't even begin to imagine and containing the catch because they haven't prepared their boat for it, because they don't believe that there's a catch. The Bible says right there in Luke chapter 4, you read it, if you have time, it says, when it happened, they were astonished. That's the word, astonished. What a funny word I thought to be ending up in the Bible. Do you know what the word astonished means? It's a kind word for saying it smacked them right in the middle of their downtime, their unbelief, their feeling sorry, their saggy little self. It was a word that said it just hit them right in the middle, because Peter was astonished and he dropped the net. And this is what the Bible said. He realized what he had let in his heart. This is what he said. If I remember right, and it's there, he says, oh God, he said, depart from me, go away from me. I'm a sinful man, oh Lord. I don't deserve this. And that's when Jesus says, that's all right, Peter. Now you will be a fisherman of men, and you will catch men for the kingdom.